But today we're doing something really, which I love, and this is the incredible egg. So what's really wonderful about eggs is it's an absolute gold mine of nutrients, vitamin A, vitamin D, fat, protein, all the good stuff. And we have special eggs. These eggs, Mr. Secretary, are regenerative pasture-raised eggs. So these particular eggs are about $3 or $4 a dozen, but what's great about these eggs, they're regenerative, and which means they're pasture-raised outside. They actually eat outside. They eat grass, they eat bugs, ruminants, and things like that, which feeds the egg. And when you crack these eggs, which you're gonna do in a minute, you're gonna see all the nutrients in that yolk. It's bright, deep orange, and it's really amazing. And so there is so many things to do with an egg, but I thought today we'd do a French omelet. Now it's called a French omelet because it's just a technique, but the omelet is gonna be so delicious. It's gonna be paired with a really bracing, acidic, good ferment, as you like to say, a really bracingly acidic salad, which we're gonna make from psyllium, which is a shallot, some chives. And this is a really inexpensive dish. The omelet you're gonna see is probably gonna cost about $1.25, and it's gonna serve 1 or 2 people. And it's one of the best things you can possibly eat. And it's old-fashioned, and it fills you up. It satiates you, means you're full. You're not always wanting to snack because your body is happy. It's happy with the fat, it's happy with the vitamins it's got, and it's happy with the nutrients. And that's what we want to, original food means, getting back to eating correctly, the way we used to eat. Everybody's into cooking. Whatever your profession is, you all want to be in the kitchen creating something you can eat because it's really soulful and it's actually spiritual. So I just love this, and I think if you just follow these simple guidelines, this is the way back to health for our kids and for our future.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. Welcome to The Real Food Show. Thanks to President Trump, we flipped the food pyramid and put real food back where it belongs, at the center of the American plate. I'm traveling across America, connecting with renowned chefs to show families how to cook delicious, nutritious meals with real ingredients, all at affordable prices. America, it's time to eat real food. Let's get cooking. Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. Welcome to The Real Food Show. My guest today is Chef Geoffrey Zakarian, who's from Worcester, Massachusetts, part of the proud Armenian community there. And Jeff has had 2 incredible restaurants here in New York City. We're in Williamsburg, Brooklyn today. The Lamb's Club and National.
The Lamb's Club and National, yes.
He's got 3 cooking shows.
Yep.
He's got a new book out called The
Original Food, which is basically mirroring what we're doing today, getting back to original food that we used to eat before it was messed up.
Good.
By whomever, but they messed it up. But today we're doing something really, which I love, and this is the incredible egg. And eggs were, I guess, 25 years ago, the best thing you can eat. Then they became bad. Now they're great again, right? So what's really wonderful about eggs is it's an absolute gold mine of nutrients, vitamin A, vitamin D, fat, protein, all the good stuff. And we have special eggs. These eggs, Mr. Secretary, are regenerative pasture-raised eggs. And what does that mean? They're slightly more expensive, and eggs go anywhere from $1 a dozen up to $4 or $5 a dozen or more. So these particular eggs are about $3 or $4 a dozen. But what's great about these eggs, they're regenerative, and which means they're pasture-raised outside. They actually eat outside. They eat grass, they eat bugs, ruminants, and things like that, which feeds the egg. And when you crack these eggs, which you're gonna do in a minute, you're gonna see all the nutrients in that yolk. It's bright, deep orange, and it's really amazing. And so there is so many things to do with an egg, but I thought today we'd do a French omelet. Now it's called a French omelet because it's just a technique, but the omelet is gonna be so delicious. It's gonna be paired with a really bracing, acidic, good ferment, as you like to say, a really bracingly acidic salad, which we're gonna make from psyllium, which is a shallot, some chives. And this is a really inexpensive dish. The omelet you're gonna see is probably gonna cost about $1.25, and it's gonna serve 1 or 2 people. And it's one of the best things you can possibly eat. And it's old-fashioned, and it fills you up. It satiates you, means you're full. You're not always wanting to snack because your body is happy. It's happy with the fat, it's happy with the vitamins it's got, and it's happy with the nutrients. And that's what we want to original food means, getting back to eating correctly, the way we used to eat. You know the old breakfast, bacon and eggs? That was actually a great breakfast. we've just sort of messed it up with cereal and going bread heavy and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to start, I'm ready. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Okay, I'm going to need you to crack. I usually use 2 whole eggs and 1 yolk. So
It is a little one.
that's a little one, right? So most eggs, so when you know these are really good eggs, farm eggs, is they're not, you put it right here, they're not perfectly sized, right? Some are big, some are small. A normal egg when you're cooking is a large egg. So when we're baking in the restaurant, we're looking for a large egg. So let's cut one more, just the yolk, which is just a back and forth over that, and you can get the yolk out. That would be great. There you go. Perfect. So I tell people that the egg is probably one of the greatest things to eat, and there's so many ways to cook it. You can bake it, you can roast it, you can fry it, you can poach it, boil it, hard-boiled eggs, egg salad. It's just one of those things that's amazing. And it's when you start cooking, I always teach my kids eggs first. So the first thing they learned was to make an omelet or cook a fried egg. And then from that, you go to lunch, because this becomes a lunch food as well. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna take this, and I like to use a fork and just whisk it. You don't use a whisk. You don't wanna get too much air in there. Really important, some sea salt, a little bit of pepper. You've done this before.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of pepper. And that's basically it. We're just getting it ready. So over here, we're gonna start the cooking process. Now, I have a pan on here on really medium-low heat, and I'm just gonna put a few pieces of whole butter. I use whole butter, and whole butter to me is the best. It really helps. It's a fat soluble. It really helps vitamin D and K get absorbed, which is in the egg. And this is a full fat, 84% butter fat. What does that mean? It means this is an unpasteurized cow milk that has been made into butter. It's a French butter, which is a little bit more expensive, but you can use regular butter. But you notice when it melts, it doesn't sputter. If you cook an inexpensive butter, it will sputter, because what they do is they add water to add weight to it. So they're actually selling you water instead of butter. So I love to use this real butter. Real butter is 84% butter fat. That's by law in France. That's what it really should be. And there's a lot of American butters now, and creameries in Vermont and things like that, that actually use real butter fat and real butter. So I love this. I'm just gonna put it on medium, and we're almost done. This is gonna be so easy. This particular one we're using with some Gruyère cheese. You don't have to, but the Gruyère cheese I like because it's really a fantastic cheese that melts perfectly. Okay, so we're just gonna add that right into here. You're gonna see how easy this is. And now we're just gonna slowly, off and on, it's on medium heat, we're just gonna make scrambled eggs. So an omelet, the secret to an omelet is it's scrambled eggs rolled on itself. That's basically what it is. It's no mystery. Everybody's like, oh my God, I don't know how to make that. It's so hard. It's not. So we're gonna make scrambled eggs. And while that's cooking, I'm just gonna add just a little bit of fresh chives here. Just gonna cut some chives. It's a allium family, which is an onion, and I love this. And as we go back to the omelet, you can see it's now starting to set. So if you were gonna cook real soft scrambled eggs, which is my favorite, you would stop right about here. So all we're gonna do is form this omelet, just like this, and we're gonna shut the heat off, because that is basically almost done. So just the carryover cooking in this is basically cooked it. So we're just gonna add some chives. And what did that take, like 20 seconds max to make an omelet?
It was pretty quick.
Pretty quick, right? And then all we're gonna do is now add a little bit of cheese. You can add anything you want here, some cooked peppers, some cooked mushrooms, but I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese to this. You don't have to. And basically the omelet becomes itself when it rolls on top of itself. So we're just gonna do this. And there you have a very simple, very delicious French omelet. Now, I like to do one other thing to it to make it even more special, is to take a bit of butter while it's warm and just brush that. What it does is makes that shine, that real curb appeal. Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful.
And then a little bit of chive on top of that, and we have our beautiful 3-egg omelet. Isn't that lovely? How simple is that? Healthy. This is perfect for me. It's one portion, but it's such a great, it's full of protein. So it's a great start to your day, and you feel good. And by the way, this will fill you up without bread or anything. And if you're going to have toast, I suggest sourdough, really toasted or grilled on a grill.
So Jeff, this fits perfectly with the new dietary guidelines, and you were there when we
unveiled it. Yeah, really
food.
incredible, and it was so wonderful to see that pyramid flip upside down. And you know, finally, after 50 years, you're like, wow, why would it take so long? But here we are with a beautiful egg, full of protein, full of healthy fats, omega-3s, really good regenerative eggs. Now these eggs cost anywhere from 99 cents a dozen up to $3 and $4 a dozen. But I really love the fact that this is a complete meal. This hits everything in your new nutritional value pyramid. And for me, it's only the beginning. When you learn how to cook this, you really have a skill that you go to the refrigerator if you have leftover peppers. Leftover peppers, you have some meat left over from last night, bits and pieces of cheese that never get to the end, you grate them. That's why we have a grater here today. And you could just make this a healthy, nutritional meal. And this is how we ate as kids growing up. We were very poor in Worcester, and my mom would make something out of everything, and the next day was a leftover, and the next day were leftovers, but they're always healthy. And I was joked by Friday, I didn't know what the original meal was on that leftover. I couldn't figure it out because it was so buried in really good, yummy, delicious food. But when you eat this omelet, I swear to God, you will be full, and it's a proper way to start your day.
I can't wait.
Okay. So notice how soft this is. It's not rubbery.
Amazing.
And the allium, that chive gives it that nice onion flavor without the harshness of the onion. Again, this cost $1.25. Imagine you can't get this in fast food, this kind of protein, all the omega-3s, vitamin A, vitamin K, all bioavailable. What does that mean?
No chemicals.
No chemicals. Bioavailable means your body's breaking it down. It doesn't need something else. It's breaking it down right away. And at the end of this meal, you're going to feel satisfied or satiated and happy. And happy food makes happy people. And if you do this with your kids, it's magical. They want to go in the kitchen. Yeah, I'm going to have the rest. So, I'm a big fan of regenerative farming, but you have some really interesting news that's coming out of Washington about the EO just signed.
Yeah, we had the 4 top regenerative farmers in America into the Oval Office for President Trump to sign an EO on regenerative farming. And among those 4, they have converted tens of millions of acres to regenerative farming.
It's just great.
And the new EO, which I'm very excited about, directs all of our agencies, EPA, USDA, and my agency, HHS, to scale regenerative farming in this country. And one of the things we're doing is at NIH and my agency, we're looking at the impacts of these cumulative chemical exposures so that we can really understand the risks of agricultural chemicals and pest control. The president's also directed us to find new ways of pest control that are less chemically intensive. As part of this effort, USDA has allocated $700 million to help conventional farmers off-ramp and transition to regenerative agriculture. And that funding opportunity, those grant opportunities, netted the biggest response in the history of the agency. Over 60,000 people contacted the USDA to make inquiries, 26,000 applications. They've never seen anything like this before. So we're seeing tremendous interest within the conventional farming community, and they want to transition because, as you know, it helps the soils.
Yeah.
It improves food.
Yes.
And makes the food so that they're dense with micronutrients, and the pesticides actually rob them of the micronutrients. It protects the soils. The soils now, because they're depleted of micronutrients, they can't absorb water. So it's washing off. We only have 60 harvests left at this rate, and the farmers know that. And also, it opens up foreign markets to them that won't take American produce because of the chemicals. It raises their profits per acre. It lowers the cost of inputs like chemicals, and it keeps them healthier. And they want healthy soils and healthy children.
Well, that is the greatest thing. I mean, I'm all into regenerative. We have regenerative food here right now. We have a beautiful salad. We're going to make a simple salad that, again, costs pennies, but is so good for you. And again, what you said, this food is food untouched, like pre-50, 60 years ago, when actually people were practicing regenerative farming just as natural. That's what it used to be.
It used to be called farming.
It used to be called farming, and now we have this fancy word. So we're going to go back to farming. Okay, so we're going to make a simple salad, and I'm just going to show you a technique. You can make dressing ahead. It's very easy, or you can buy it. I recommend you don't buy it because what's in there is you have a lot of alliums and seed oils. Plus you have things like, things that caking agents that you don't want to eat, and things that make them shelf stable. When you hear the word shelf stable, you should run, because that is not what you want to be eating. This is so simple. This is made from ingredients you can get anywhere, okay? A very inexpensive red wine vinegar This is ground mustard. This is some shallots. Now, if you don't have shallots, you can have onion. If you don't have any onions, you can make garlic. If you don't have either, you don't need any of this. Salt, a little lemon juice, and some olive oil. And so what I like to do, very simple, I take a little bit of mustard. We put the mustard in the bowl. So we're gonna actually make this in the bowl, right? Some vinegar, and I like vinegar. I know you like vinegar and ferments. It's so good for you. I can't live without vinegar. It's one of the essence of a pantry of a chef is vinegar, anchovies, capers, all those things that have real great nutrients and they have that acid balance. Some shallots, since we have them and we were talking about it. A good amount of salt. Some fresh lemon juice. I am a lemon nut. I'm Armenian, Middle Eastern. We use lemon, citrus, dates, olives, everything really delicious. And then a little extra virgin olive oil. So when I make a salad dressing, this is how I make my salad dressings. I sometimes make it in the jar and just shake it, but I'm 50-50. Like most recipes will say 30% oil, 1 part vinegar. I'm 50-50. I like it really bracing. I like to taste the vinegar. And especially this one is going with, we're gonna taste it now. This is going with the beautiful omelet we made. A little bit more. And would you give me a couple of turns of pepper? Mr. Secretary, right there. Okay, so now we're gonna put in some chives right here. And then what I like to do, now that we have that sort of all mixed together, we simply add our salad to the bowl, right? And now we have the dressing on the bottom. And so we just add a little salad. And if we find it's a little too much dressing, we just add some more lettuce. So what I like to do is not use tweezers. This is very delicate Bibb lettuce, grown regeneratively. So easy. This probably cost $2, this salad. I'm gonna throw in waste, because we always talk about waste, because there is some waste in everything you do. Usually it's 10%, so maybe $2.15, $2.20 for this salad. But look how beautiful this is. We have a jumper. Just take a taste of that. Right, it's a good salad. It's so good for you. It looks beautiful, it's inexpensive. And this is the kind of food I like to cook with my kids because I really see how real good food is made. I think that cooking with kids is the way forward because there is no other way than to educate our kids. There's no other way. We simply don't have a choice. And I want to tell you, I think that AI and all these incredible advances we're making, time-saving AI is hopefully going to throw us more into the kitchen. We're going to have time now because AI is going to take care of a lot of that drudgery so we can go in and learn how to cook again, learn how to sit with our kids and talk about issues and talk about food and just even argue, but we're going to be eating good food together and learning how to eat food we used to eat or original food. Back to the farm.
And cooking and a meal and eating together was a sacred ritual since the beginning of humanity.
And it always will be.
The Surgeon General, which is part of my agency, just published a report warning about the dangers of screen time. And 16-year-olds now are spending 8.5 hours a day on their screens. And we have this malaise, this epidemic of isolation and fragmentation and atomization in our country, where the #1 cause of death now for teens and preteens is suicide.
It's terrible.
And the remedy for that and the remedy for addiction and all these other spiritual malaise that we're facing is connection. And connection to your family, your community, to nature. And one of the best ways that we can begin that process of restoring that quality to our country, that quality of community and those connections is through encouraging people to make meals together.
Of course, it's right in the kitchen where everything starts. You know, when you go to someone's house, where's the first? Everyone always ends up in the kitchen. I don't care if you're invited to a party, everybody wanders into the kitchen somehow because that's where all the action really is. Nothing like a good salad, huh?
The reason that people eat fast food and ultra-processed food, they say, is because it's convenient. But this is actually much more convenient.
Of course.
And it's a lot cheaper. A Big Mac meal will cost $12 to $14.
Oh, God.
and you don't feel good about yourself after you ate it.
You don't, and for $12 or $14, let me tell you, you can cook some incredible meals. That's a lot of money per person.
Yeah.
And this is all simple. It's all great. But what we've also done
This
here,
whole thing's under $5.
under $5, what we've also done here is we re-engage that community, that sense of like, what am I doing? Like, get in the kitchen with your kids, just get in the kitchen. And I'm telling you, the return you see now, I see on Instagram all the time because I'm constantly watching for it. Everybody's into cooking. Whatever your profession is, you all want to be in the kitchen creating something you can eat because it's really soulful and it's actually spiritual. So I just love this, and I think if you just follow these simple guidelines, this is the way back to health for our kids and for our future.
So this is a way that people can take back their health. And it's a wrap. Thank you, Chef Geoff Zakarian.
Thank you, Mr. Zakarian.
And thanks for showing us how to make America healthy again.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.